Okay, moving on to our next speaker. This is another Mark. Hi, Mark Storie. This Mark is part of a dual use site, so I thought it was important to have the voice from a different model. Mark is the director of Astley Sports Village, the governor at Rayner Stephens High School in Tameside, and he's going to talk through just a bit about aligning partners around the pupils and the community. So yeah, Mark will go into more detail around that. Hi, Mark.
How are you guys? Okay.
Thanks for joining us.
No problem. So, guys, thank you obviously for your time today. So, a little bit of a background to me. Obviously, I've started about 20 odd years ago in the leisure industry. I started as a young lifeguard, eager and working at High Leisure as a lifeguard there, and I made my way up to the gym. Obviously, the gym, I really enjoyed that type of training and obviously supporting, developing clients. And then obviously I progressed then. I went working on cruise ships, running gyms around the world, which was fantastic. Then I came back to Costa del Tameside, and that's where I've been ever since. Basically, in my position here, so I've been here now about 15 years. I started as a part-time instructor, and then the place, should we say, wasn't in the best of conditions in terms of the business model itself. The numbers were quite low in terms of footfall, and I think the school was getting a little bit kind of, is this going to really work for us, this community provision? Because it is quite daunting for a school to take on a community provision where they're very much focused on education, improving the standards of education, teaching and learning. When you try and put a community aspect on it, it can be quite daunting for the school and thinking we haven't got the experience for this. And it kind of touched on what David said before about having a trusted group or trusted organisation or trusted people to deliver the community side alongside education. So my angle today is sort of how I can sort of align partners to support me and support the development of it, which was best for both community and also the students, because I think that's really important, where if your site's going to work as a dual use site, it has to benefit both partners. It has to benefit the community, but also has to benefit the school, the development plan of the school, and also the students within the school, and also the staff as well. So basically, as I said, where I started was when I first took over, was how we can make it more worthwhile for the actual the PE students, the actual school students, because we've got some fantastic facilities here. I've got a gym, I've got a sports hall, I've got an AstroTurf, I've got a 3G development as well. We've got a school hall, we've got a studio, so we are quite fortunate. We have got some fantastic spaces to utilise for both students and community. So I started to work with the PE department a lot more, because the students here arguably got probably the best facilities in Tameside for sport. It was trying to then say, right, let's get these students using the facilities to the best potential possible. And then obviously that has a benefit for pupils, but then out of school time, so from 4 p.m. weekdays, Monday to Friday, we're open from 4 p.m. for community bookings. So like your early years, your footy tots, your tecker tots, your early dance bookings, your gymnastics, we start that from 4 p.m. And weekends as well, we're open at weekends. So weekends are open from 8:30, Saturdays and Sundays until about 6 o'clock in the evening. So it is quite a big community model there. So the PT was obviously on board, which you get the most benefits out of the students for the actual P lessons itself, using fantastic facilities, doing their fitness modules in the gym, using some of my staff, using myself there to deliver some of the actual more fitness side based sessions as well. We work very closely with Tameside School Sports Partnership, which is led by Emma Toon. We are a hub site for the school games organiser model. So we've got Emma, obviously, and Jeff, who I work close with. And we obviously bring primary school events to this facility here. So like this week, we've got a basketball finals with local primary schools coming down to use the school. That's great for the pupils, the primary schools, but it's also great for me as a facility for community. So we're bringing people onto the site, but then equally, it's also great for the actual school leadership team and the head teacher, because you're bringing your cluster primary schools to your venue to showcase your facilities. And then little Jim using year 6 says, you know what, I love it here, it's great, the sport's great, I want to come to this school when I'm in year 7. So again, it's that kind of linking up the dots there to make it benefit for all parties involved. about 4 years ago, I embarked on a project which was certainly a learning curve, and that was actually getting funding for a brand new 3G football development here on the site. Previously, we got a 2G AstroTurf, which is great for hockey and multi-sports, but we needed a 3G because the community within Tameside, the amount of football clubs needed a facility they could use year round, because obviously grass is not the best all year round, and obviously a 2G AstroTurf isn't the best either. So we embarked on what I'm going to call a very learning curve journey with the Football Foundation, writing business plans and trying to get grants. Now, this is where, again, that buy-in from the school, because we had to ask the school for a sum of money to put down as match funding. School priorities can be very much education, teaching, learning, but I think sometimes because what we did and proven through our community provision and aligning our partners, they actually said, well, okay, we'll put some money into it, because we know the investment there is not only good for the community, but also the school students, because they're going to have a fantastic place to actually do their PE lessons, their football lessons, their rugby lessons there. And we were successful after 12 months of a journey. We managed to get over £450,000 from the Football Foundation, alongside our match funding from the school and the trust at the time, to obviously put down. And that's now, we've got a brand new facility there. It's 3 years old, and it's obviously not only full 7 days a week for community sport, it's full during the daytime with PE students using it. We've got primary schools using it for football competitions. And again, it's that partnership between the primary schools coming down to our facility, bringing their kids on site, letting them experience what life will be like here from a sporting aspect, and join up those dots there. So we've got the 3G bill, which is great for community and also for the school as well. We then obviously use the facility as almost an alternative provision. So there is students in the school, we're a secondary school, who may have sort of behavioural difficulties, challenges, and I'm a big believer in this, and hopefully a lot of people will be on this screen, is sport can play a key role in engaging students who not necessarily are those who are mainstream students. So by bringing them up to the sports centre here, using the gym, using my team, using the facilities, we then obviously set up an alternative provision here now, where the school signposts from students up to me. We do a little bit of work with the students, get them in the gym, and then hopefully their behaviour, some of their targets, then change within the school. They make better choices, because ultimately, if they don't make better choices, then they potentially lose that facility and you lose that provision there as well. Obviously, we've got the Greater Sport Link. I've been working now with Lauren for some time. Obviously, we was part of the Great Manchester Satellite Club funding, where we managed to get some girls' gymnastics here. So again, we were supported by Greater Sport with some start-up funding to run a session for your community, which obviously your primary school students, and that was based on site here. So again, it's joined up those dots, and without that funding through Greater Sport, that session would arguably not been possible there as well. We've got a link with Jigsaw Homes, which is like our local housing association. Again, it's a key drive, that, because if you're having that link with your local housing association, not only are you creating those stronger links in terms of the residents, you know, your school, your hub site is there, but again, arguably a lot of their residents, a lot of their children, a lot of their residents, young people, will be looking at schools in the future to come, obviously, and we want them to come to this school here, because it benefits both the school in terms of from a financial aspect and bums on seats, but also we want to engage local residents, because we have got two quite large local housing estates around the facility, what are Jigsaw Homes. So again, we've worked with Jigsaw Homes now for about 12-18 months. We've started up a disco dodgeball session for their residents, which is great fun. Give a kid a dodgeball and yeah, they'll move, which is great. Everyone wins. So yeah, that's your housing association there. And like last couple, you got street games. So I've got a partnership with Street Games as well. So Street Games, we managed to get some funding to deliver what's called a street futsal session. So for basically 16 to 18-year-old lads, we had an issue with some groups of lads on site. They had nothing to do, nowhere to go. And instantly, when you've got a facility like this, which is open, they want to come to your facility. They want to hang around. They want to kick a football around. They'd rather do that than roam in the street. So we sort of tried to branch and create that bridge there to get them engaged with us. build up that relationship with us, which they have done, and we obviously then give them a session for 30 weeks of street futsal on a Friday night, which is great. They got a lot from it. Obviously, we got some income from it from the all higher, but we've managed to join those dots up. And really important is then signposting those kids to different activities. So them kids there who came to the session now attend the weekly football sessions, what that coach does as well. And finally, the workforce in terms of how it creates opportunities. You know, we've got there now where I bring in, we've got a part of that, we're a multi-academy trust. So we've basically got students at Ashton Sixth Form who come over now to here and they do some work experience from some of my sports camps. So Easter, I've got a half-term sports camp through what's called a Fuel for Fun programme. So they're going to come over and do some work experience, do some volunteering. And I've also got a few Year 11 students here who, again, may not make the necessarily better choices in the school day, but give them up the sport here, and they're absolutely fantastic. And they've done some work for me over previous holiday clubs, and they're fantastic coaches or fantastic future coaches. And again, it's inspiring those students there. And so, in summary, for a community site to work like this, for a school and a leisure facility, there has to be a buy-in from the school, but you have to prove that it's going to benefit the school. It's going to benefit from both a transition point of view, a reputation point of view, but also you've got that financial income as well, what is obviously much needed for any school right now. And then obviously the other side of it, from my side, you've got the physical activity side where you're basically making your community more active, that mental health, the physical health, the social side, and also giving that kind of opportunities. What by using this site, you won't get this at Pure Gym, you won't get this at the gym group or somewhere like that. You use these sites to develop that community vision.
Nailed it, Mark. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it's a tight turnaround of 10 minutes, a whistle-stop tour of your life and your journey at the site there. But hopefully there's some things that have resonated with people on the call today, or people are going to hear this recording. I know not every site is obviously a dual use site, Mark, but there's so much learning, particularly from me, that I've learned from you around just that engagement and knitting together that school model with the community and engaging in different ways. And I think you highlighted that really well today around the primary all the way through up to sixth form model around engaging these different age groups of those young people and giving them opportunities. So that was really great to hear. I think what I'm gone over on time really quickly, but I just wanted to mention the school exam timetables. So if anyone doesn't follow Mark on social media, please do, because he's got some great advice and learning. He's always sharing his stories and his different partners he's working with. But there's one particular issue around school exam timetables and the chairs being up in the hall and taking over, Mark. So do you just want to quickly, just 30 seconds, just give me a quick summary of how you've had to overcome that challenge?
Yeah, so every secondary school and pretty much every college faces this because it happens, it's part of the school. I was determined that there's going to be no disruption to the bookings, and basically the school said, well, as long as they're up for the following morning, then that's fine. So during the exam period, I stay late with my team and we take all the tables down, we stack them away, we put them away in a storeroom, we take the chairs away, so then the community bookings still have their operation during the weekdays and the weekends. But then come 10:30 at night, weekdays, we dig in deep and we just get the tables out, 150 of them. So yeah, it's a challenge, but again, it's making sure you give everything you can to community because they'll give it you back. So from a financial aspect, you get the income year round, you get that guaranteed revenue there, you don't lose revenue. But for me, it was more of, if you said to a netball club or a football club, listen, I can host you here, but I'm going to have to shut your session for 6 weeks or 4 weeks. That's a huge detriment to their organisation, especially when you can't replicate it outside or another venue. So yeah, we dig in deep, we just take them down. So yeah, the worst time of my year is coming up very soon, where it's exams for about 4 weeks, and yeah, tables up, tables down. I have like nightmares over it.
Oh, thanks, Matt. I think it's really key for me is just to show that overcoming them challenges, they are there, and I appreciate school sites. There's so much to think about, but it's just the way we can kind of overcome that challenge. So thanks for sharing your stories. Any questions for Mark in the chat? We'll come to at the end of the speakers, but we've only got one question there at the moment. Please feel free to ask some questions. We've got 3 speakers remaining, and I'm looking for